Here's Coach Erik Spoelstra.
And sort of, it's almost like the game restarted. What did you guys do from there that you felt finally allowed you to create this separation?
I mean, well, first of all, like 48-minute games are long, so you have to. They're a very good team, you know, even without Embiid. So of course you get a double-digit lead in this league and in the playoffs. You know, those leads can go like that. And I think our offense got us in trouble in that second quarter. You know, the turnovers were just a little bit disjointed, not you know, real organized. And then we just were able to get a little bit more organized in the second half. And defensively, we really picked up, you know, the intensity, but we did it with a little bit more thought and a little bit more discipline. And then those inspiring offensive rebounds and extra possessions and just those extra efforts, I think, just ignited everybody on the team. And that was PJ, Bam, both those guys again were just terrific.
I saw Tyler out there at like 9 a.m. or something crazy this morning before Philly shooting out and just trying to find whatever, you know, his obviously his routine had been off the last few days, you know, with cold and all that. Was it a surprise that he found that sort of form again after having his routine disrupted?
I think it was just a matter of time before he was going to get into his rhythm. You know, he's a great player. He's so skilled. It is just a matter of time, and sometimes, you know, you miss shots. But I thought in the Atlanta series, I thought he was just really playing, you know, good basketball. He just wasn't making some of the shots that we're used to seeing him make, and then everybody jumps to conclusions about that. But he was playing winning basketball. You know, and he did miss, you know, a couple days of practice. But he's a worker. He's relentless, and you know, we need his skill level. You know, as you know, face tougher teams. You know, they have different schemes. You need guys that can just make plays, and Tyler was able to do that. The plays in between, they weren't necessarily play calls, but just plays in between that he was able to be super efficient. And that, you know, he's a big time X factor for us. You know, offensively, you know, when he's in that kind of rhythm. Yeah, you can't put. You know, a value. Well, you can't put an analytic to it. I literally don't know what his stats were, but he has those momentum-shifting plays. They're just timely winning plays, and he has a way of doing things that just inspires your whole team. And it was those offensive rebounds, you know, diving on the floor, really competing, you know, on the ball against one of the toughest covers in the league. And even when, you know, it wasn't necessarily working out, like if he was fouling or whatever, it's just everybody, you know, just feels, you know, added inspiration and life and everything from what he does out there. And that has a 10x factor. He was tremendous on both ends of the court, and you know, that's what winning basketball is supposed to look like.
When you look at Bam, and I don't want to say advantage in the middle to downplay what they had, but with Embiid out, this was an opportunity. Your thoughts about how he seized the moment?
Yeah, both ends of the court. You know, he was so critical, you know, particularly in the second half, whether in zone or man, he was able to find those open gaps, you know, in the paint. And it wasn't, you know, as if we were running plays, specific plays for him. It was just his activity, his relentlessness, his assertiveness. Our guys were finding him in the paint, and then when the ball was up there, he was just going after it, you know, really trying to work to get us extra possessions. It's all those extra efforts, you know, that really can make a difference. And then sometimes that'll lead to a 24-point game. Sometimes it won't. But it's that effort that really contributes to winning. And then defensively, he just did so much. And then cleaning the glass, you know, when they did miss, he was just going up over the top of everybody and just, you know, rebounding in traffic.
Kind of follow up on Anthony's question about PJ. There's obviously that one particular possession in the third where he knocks a rebound away from somebody, and then he gets a rebound, and then he sort of takes out Harris and allows Bam to get a rebound. Bam gets the
Yeah.
At that point, like, the game's still very much in the balance. Then
Yeah.
2 minutes later,
Yeah.
the lead was double digits again.
Yeah.
Is it, I guess, how infectious?
Yeah.
I mean, he does this all the time, but it just seems like he's picking up even more steam at this point of the year.
Yeah, there's really a timeliness to his winning plays. It's tough to describe it. They're momentum shifting plays, and he just senses the moment. And a lot of times it's going to be those intangible plays, loose balls, deflections, taking a charge, or just his pursuits on both ends of the court that don't necessarily translate to a stat. They just infuse confidence and life into your team. He's a really inspiring player. He's our best communicator. And he's always out there barking out coverages, getting guys organized, getting guys to the right spots defensively, but also on the other end, he's such an underrated offensive, high IQ player. He can just make it work, and that's whether he's playing at the 3-4 or the moments we had him at the 5.
I know the rotations are changing in every game. I can't play everybody, but going into the season tonight, just the guys you went with and Duncan without.
Yeah, it literally could change next game. It's a playoff rotation. He's stable enough. He's ready enough, and it might just be some moments where he really can change a quarter or a game and just be ignitable. It's just the way we went tonight. But like I said before we even started this series, this is probably going to feel like 3 or 4 different series, by the time we get to the middle of it.
How do you feel you guys did against their zone? The ones that were obviously quarter.
Yeah, I think we weren't necessarily assertive, against it in the second quarter. We're a little bit better with it in the second half, and I'm sure we'll see, zone periodically, in this series, and that's something we'll have to just continue to be more intentional about. Whether it was the man or the zone, we just weren't as organized as we could be, and I think that led to some poor spacing and some turnovers that really kind of got us disjointed.
Well, you mentioned a few times that this has a chance to feel like 3 or 4 different series. There's inherent pressure in any playoff series. But do you guys feel a little more to pick up these first 2, knowing that Joel won't be that different?
Not necessarily. You don't want to add more context, to anything. You want to stay in the present moment. And it's really just trying to do whatever you have to do to try to get the next game or the game at hand. And that's all we're going to focus on. We haven't had any discussions about, hey, we have to win. I think that adds a different kind of context and pressure. It's just about trying to go out and putting together your best game plan to win that game. And that's what we'll focus on the next 48 hours is just on game 2.
Both Tyler and Ben individually, but seeing the most effective combos.
Yeah.
There's a high pick and roll here, and Ben kind of getting to him, getting to his pull, and Ben getting to his spots. Have you seen that grown over time? If you think
Without a
back
doubt.
Early in the season to now, what is the biggest differences with that combo?
I think it's been the reps, but it's also been some of the opportunities that they had while other guys were out, and they really gained some confidence, through that. There are young guns, there are young, ambitious, guys, and we want them to be who they are, but they really complement each other well, and they've gained a lot of confidence in their 2-man actions. They do a lot of different things with those actions, and a lot of them are unscripted. It's just through a lot of these game reps and practice reps, but they certainly have a good synergy, and we needed that in that second half. As they stepped up their defense, in the second quarter, we needed those intentional plays to our strengths, and Bam and Tyler were able to do that in the second half.
Erik, it seemed that the Sixers for a while were trying to feel their way along offensively without Joel. So when you mentioned it, it's going to be a series of adjustments. So what are you expecting from them now in game 2, now that they had a game that was doubled out?
I need a little bit of time, Jim, to try to anticipate that. I don't know, but Doc he's a great coach, brilliant mind. He'll come up with something, and we'll try to make our adjustments. You know, and they even without Embiid, you know, they have, you know, some great firepower. Harden creates a lot of things that you have to be ultra on edge about, and Maxey has just continued to improve, and then Harris was killing us tonight. Okay.
Will be a Zoom to Cooper.
Cool.